learners, this is Elena Mishra. Welcome to Snape's Biology. Today I am going to discuss about arrangement of leaves on the stem and modifications of the leaves which performs several additional functions other than the normal function. So let's start. So phyllotaxy, what does it mean? Phyllotaxy basically means arrangement of leaves, and where are these leaves arranged? They can be on branch or on the stem also. And why is this arrangement is so important? Reason is the leaves should get sufficient sunlight so that they can perform photosynthesis. So there are certain important arrangements which are seen. First is alternate arrangement. As the name indicates, every node is going to have only one leaf and leaf would grow in alternate manner. There are two types of alternate arrangements are found. One is spiral type, another is disticus type. In alternate spiral types, only one leaf is present at each node and the leaves of adjacent nodes roughly lie towards the opposite side, thus giving a spiral arrangement, which is seen in case of China rose. Next is alternate disticus type. Here also every node consists of only one leaf. If the leaf is present on one side, the next leaf is going to be present on other side. And why are they alternate? Reason is all the leaf would get sufficient sunlight and the gap between two leaves would be enough so that the sunlight would fall on each leaf sufficiently. So this type of arrangement is known as alternate arrangement. So where we find this type of arrangement? This type of arrangement is found in case of sunflower, mustard, etc. Next is opposite arrangement. Here in every node there will be two leaves, but in case of opposite arrangement, we find the two types of further arrangement. First is superposed, second is decussate. So in case of opposite superposed, one node has two leaves, the next node has also two leaves, every node is going to have two leaves. So arrangement is that every node has two leaves, so leaves are arranged one over the other. This arrangement is superposed. In such plants, the gap between two leaves is more so that the sunlight falls on each and every leaves. This is seen in case of Eugenia. Next is opposite decussate. In this case, every node has two leaves. The first one is same as it was in superposed. On next node, the upper on lower, the next pair is going to at right angle to the first one so that each leaf gets sufficient sunlight for photosynthesis. This is seen in case of Ocimum, Guava, Calotropis, etc. Both are opposite, but the difference is how the arrangement is at every node. If the leaf is one above the other, then it is called superposed, and if the pairs sit by 90 degrees, then the arrangement would be called decussate. The third arrangement is hold. As the name tells us, on one node there would be multiple leaves. So all these leaves, they are basically on one node, and this arrangement is in the form of a circular arrangement which is called hold, which is seen in case of Alstonia, Veronicastrum, etc. So these are three common types of arrangement which are seen, and this arrangement comes under phyllotaxy. It is very important so that each and every leaf gets sufficient sunlight for photosynthesis. Next is modifications of leaves. In many plants, leaves get modified to perform special functions other than the normal ones such as photosynthesis and transpiration. Sometimes these modifications are in response to certain environmental conditions. Some of the important modifications are as follows. First one is storage leaves or fleshy leaves. Means they become thick and normally they still remain green. So they retain the function of photosynthesis, but because they are thick and fleshy, they also store certain things in them. For example, aloe vera. The leaf of aloe is very thick and fleshy, so they store water, they store food material, plus they are green, so they are going to perform photosynthesis also. Some of the plant may also help in vegetative propagation. For example, in case of Bryophyllum kalanchoe, the leaves also has buds, so these buds give rise to the another plants. Second modification is the leaf may gets modified into tendrils, so we call them leaf tendrils. Now, which part of the leaf is getting modified into tendril? That will give us subtypes. Sometimes the entire leaf may gets modified into tendril, so we call it entire leaf tendril. This is seen in case of Lathyrus. Here they perform the function of climbing. Here in this plant, they have weak stem, so this tendrillary structure, they help the plant to climb. Next, sometimes the upper leaflets may get modified into tendrils, so it is called leaflet tendrils, and this is seen in case of pea. In pea, the terminal leaflet become modified into spirally coiled structure, that is tendril, and the function is climbing. It helps the plant to climb, so climbing is additional function which it is doing. Sometimes the terminal leaflets gets modified into tendrils, which is seen in case of Naravelia. Leaf apex get modified into tendrils, then it will called leaf apex tendril. Here only the apex part is modified into spiral structure. This is seen in case of Gloriosa. Next, one more structure that can modified into tendrillary part, that is petiole, then we would call it petiolar tendril. And petiolar tendril means the petiole part is going to become tendrillar. This is seen in case of Clematis. Another example is Nepenthes, the pitcher plant. In pitcher plant, this petiole gets modified, so this petiole has become spiral, coiled and tendrillar, and the blade has gotten modified into this pitcher-like structure. So this is actually the modified petiole, and this is modified into tendrillar structure. But in case of Nepenthes, the function of petiole is put the pitcher upright so that the insect can go in and they get trapped. The next modification that we see for tendril is stipule, modified into tendril. So this will be called stipular tendril. In this case, we have seen that there are two structures which are there to protect the leaf. But when the leaf is in the form of primordium, then these two structures were protecting that primordium. Now the leaf is open, this stipule get modified into tendrils, and this can seen in case of Smilax. So in all these cases, some part of leaf has get modified into tendril. So all these come under modified leaves. The structures which are formed, they are modifications of leaf, and they are performing a function other than photosynthesis. The next modification, they are called leaf spines. That means the leaf is getting modified into a spiny structure. Now which part is getting modified, that would give us the subtypes. So if the entire leaf changes into spine, we will call it whole leaf spine or entire leaf spine. This is seen in case of cactus, where the entire leaf is modified into a spiny structure. So why is the leaf getting modified into spine? This is because to minimize the transpiration. As the leaf changes into spiny structure, then there are no stomata, no transpiration. Next, it could be leaf apex, which is modified into spines. This is seen in case of date palm, yucca, and here the tip is modified into spiny structure is for protection. Next is where the margin has become spiny, we will call it leaf margin spine. Only the margin part is becoming spiny, and this is seen in case of aloe vera leaf and poppy plant, that is Argemone mexicana, etc. Next is it could be stipule modified into spine. So this would be called stipular spine, and this is seen in case of Gygipus. In Gygipus, the stipule which are present there, they become spiny pointed structure, and the main function is protection. Next is the leaf itself become modified into a spine, while the leaves of axillary buds are normal. This is seen in case of Barberries. The next modification of leaves is scaly leaves. Here the leaf is modified into dry scaly structures, and the function is protection of birds. Because the bird is going to arise in axil of leaf, so this dry scaly structure is going to simply protect the bird. It is brownish in color, or sometimes it is colorless. So its main role is not photosynthesis, some additional function is performed by it. This is seen in case of Ruscus. It is also found in case of Casuarina and Asparagus. Next is leaflet hooks. In Bignonia, the three terminal leaflets of leaf gets modified into claw-like hooks which help in climbing. Next modification is leaf roots. In case of Salvinia, 3 leaves are present at one node. Out of these, 2 leaves are normal, and third gets modified into adventitious roots which help in floating over the surface of water. Next is phyllodes. In this case, the petiole of leaf becomes green to perform photosynthesis, and we find it in case of Australian acacia. In Australian acacia, the leaf blade is very small. It is a xerophytic plant. The leaf blade falls off, and when the leaf blade falls off, this petiolate part, it becomes thick and green, and it is going to perform photosynthesis. Next, leaf gets modified into bladder, so we will call it leaf bladders. For example, utricularia. In utricularia, the leaf changes in a tiny bladder or balloon-like structure. This is going to trap the insects. So here the function is to capture insects. This is an insectivorous plant, and this bladder would help in trapping the insects. Another example is Drosera. In Drosera, the lamina possesses numerous spine-like hairs spreading all around. Each hair has a shining sticky globule at its tip which contains digestive enzymes. These hairs are very sensitive to touch. The moment an insect happens to sit on the lamina, the hairs of lamina bend and cover it completely, leaving no chance for the insect to escape. The insect is digested with the help of enzyme present in the shining tips of hairs. The hairs return to their original position after the insect has been digested. One more modification where leaf gets modified into pitcher. So we call them leaf pitchers. And in case of leaf pitcher, the different parts of leaf, they show different types of modifications. So we already talked about it. Here the petiole has become tendriller, and we find a vase-like pitcher-like structure with an opening with a lid. If we closely observe this pitcher, we also find venation in the pitcher. So different parts have been modified into different things. Here the petiole modified into tendrils, leaf blades modified into pitcher, and leaf apex is modified into lid. This is also seen in case of insectivorous plant, that is Nepenthes. There is one more type of pitcher which we see, and it is again modification of leaf, but that pitcher is for different function. Here the petiole gets modified into tendril, and the leaf blade is going to get modified into a pitcher which has a wide opening. Here there is no lid. The function of this pitcher is to collect water. So the dewdrops would collect into this pitcher, and the roots of these plants would dip into this pitcher to absorb water. This is seen in case of Dischidia. So it was all about leaves. So leaves arises from the nodes of the stem, consist of mainly three parts, that is leaf base, petiole, that is the stalk of the leaf, and lamina or leaf base. A paired tiny structure present at the base of the leaf which is known as stipules, and the stipules are modified into various types to protect the leaf primordium. The leaf blade or lamina consists of many veins and veinlets. These veins are nothing but the vascular tissue, and the arrangement of veins and veinlets is known as venation. It may be reticulate venation or parallel venation or forked venation. Reticulate venation mainly found in dicot leaf, and again it is divided into unicostate venation with single midrib and multicostate venation with multiple midrib, and parallel venation mainly found in monocot leaves. It is also divided into unicostate and multicostate type of venation. And the third one is forked venation, which is mainly found in pteridophytes. Next we have studied types of leaf on the basis of incision or cuts. It may be simple leaves or compound leaves. Compound leaves are again divided into pinnately compound and palmately compound, and the pinnately compound leaves again subdivided into unipinnate, bipinnate, tripinnate and decompound leaves, and palmately compound leaves also divided into unifoliate, bifoliate, trifoliate, quadrifoliate and multifoliate. Next we have studied phyllotaxy, that is the arrangement of leaves on the stem or on its branches. It may be alternate, opposite or whole arrangement, so that each and every leaf gets sufficient sunlight for photosynthesis. Next, the leaf or parts of the leaves gets modified into various forms to perform some additional functions other than its normal function, that is photosynthesis, transpiration and gaseous exchange. So these are the important points about leaves. Next we will discuss about inflorescence, that is the arrangement of the flowers. So don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for more updates. Thank you.